Well, if you watched yesterday's Stuff Chat video, it would come as no surprise to you that I didn't like this ORDRO HDR-AZ50 camera one bit. I was especially disgusted that I couldn't film myself vlogging because I came out completely out of focus. I also saw that in the test footage afterwards, and yeah, I also didn't like the white balance that the camera gave the image when it was on automatic white balance. Also the exposure wasn't good. But getting back to focusing on me when I vlog, well, yes, the framing is very tight, and yes, they did give you a lens to make the angle slightly wider, but no, I didn't like the results one bit. I came out completely out of focus. However, in post-production on that video, I did see the footage again that there was a menu item. Let me just find it again. You see, when you are in video recording mode, that is with this switch at the top, and you open up the camera, then it gives you a menu here with some stuff. Alright, while we are here, you see the white balance I set on daylight, and the exposure I set on -1. That gives you alright results. But what I wanted to show you was when you turn this dial to the left, if you go to setup, you get a menu item here that says macro. Now that's the one that got me thinking a bit, because as you might know, macro photography usually means if you want to film something close up like this, actually close to the camera. So I consulted the user's manual, but I could find absolutely nothing about it in there. So I decided, you know what, let's just test that today. I'm gonna go back to video mode, and first I'm gonna film a clip of my face close up like this. Alright, there's no memory card in this. I took it out when I edited yesterday. Be right back. Alrighty, now we have a card in. I'm just gonna use the camera's mic wherever it is. I wonder if it's not here in front, but there's so much plastic over this. Alrighty, we are now filming without the macro lens and without the camera being on macro mode. Okay, now let's put on this macro lens. Yeah, now the angle is a bit wider, but I don't think my face is in focus here. Okay, so now let's do that with the macro setting turned to on. See if that makes a difference. Macro, and let's turn it on. And we go back to video mode. Now let's see, what have we got? We're filming without the macro lens. Okay, the shot is very close on my face. Maybe the exposure is a little bit too low now. Yeah, I wonder if it was affected by the macro setting now. Let me just get the exposure a bit up. I go menu and exposure. It is on -1, so let's put it on 0. And we record. Hey there! Yeah, the macro is now on. The macro lens isn't on the camera, but it still looks like the exposure is very low now. Alright, I have the exposure on +2 now. For some reason, it's still very darkish. But anyway, does it look like the focus on my face is better now? Now let's add this lens. Okay, so now we have the macro function on, and we have the macro lens on. So, am I in focus now? Will things really close by be in focus? It looks like my hand is in focus. Yeah, there, it's a little bit out of focus. Yeah, you can see, look how close my hand is to this camera. Yeah, now I can hold my hand much closer to the camera before it seems the focus goes out. But for some reason the exposure is still very low, even though I set it way up. You know what, let's go do some test shots outside. Alright, we're now shooting with the macro lens. Hopefully my face is in focus this time around. Now let me just find somewhere where there isn't so much sunlight, because it looks like it's gonna cause a problem. Ah, there we are. So, is my face in better focus now? That's what I wonder. Exposure is at -1, but that might be a little bit too dark. But anyway, what we want to know is my face in focus this way? And what does this macro setting actually do? Does that mean it focuses here and not on the background? Are the things in the background still in focus? What do they look like? Yeah, I cannot really see on this viewfinder, but yeah, it looks like things might also be in focus in the back. Alright, let's just do something without the lens now. There, the lens is off. Is everything in focus in the background also? Almost looks like it, but yeah, there's some reflections on this viewfinder. I cannot really make out what's going on it. The macro lens is on now, and so is macro mode. Can I show you this flower? Is this flower in focus? I'm now almost right up against it. There, I'm right up against it. Yeah. Let's do it without this lens. How's the focus? Focus good. Looks like it on the viewfinder. Let's do a zoom. That's zoomed in all the way. Zoomed out halfway. Alright. Doggy. That's full zoom now. Alrighty, yeah, looking much better in focus. The lens is on now. I'm zooming through the macro lens onto this doggy's face. Yeah, there I can see the digital zoom is causing a bit of deterioration. That's halfway out. That's completely zoomed out. Go backy. Let's see. I've now taken the lens off. How close can I get to this doggy? Okay. Well, it looks like maybe I can vlog with this camera, so I'm very happy about that. I was thoroughly disgusted when it seemed I can't. And now I see we can also test the zoom. There are some nyalas over there. The zoom isn't really impressing me. One thing, yeah, the image did deteriorate. And they also divided it up so you must zoom twice to get the full range. But maybe that's because they don't want you to zoom in to where the image deteriorates right away. Yeah, not impressed, but alright. The wide angle view is pretty nice. Let's just try the zoom also with this macro lens on. Yeah, not very good, I'm afraid. Alright then, ladies and gents, if you happen to have bought this camera, I hope this tip helped you. Yeah, it seems the macro function does indeed make a difference. If you happen to have bought a camera like this, but you were thoroughly disappointed when it seemed you cannot even vlog with it because it won't focus on your face, remember that there is such a thing as a macro function in the menu, and that if you turn it on, it seems you can actually focus on objects closer by. And if the default lens is a close-up too tight on your face, you can of course use the macro lens to make it a little bit wider, and then having the macro function on helps the camera actually focus on your face. I'm still to watch the footage on a 4K monitor after this, but on this viewfinder it already looked a lot better, because I could see it was out of focus when we did the footage yesterday. Yeah, so remember, macro function needs to be on. Do I like this camera more now? Maybe a little bit, but I still don't like that these functions aren't automatic. I'm used to cameras that do these settings automatically as needed. I still don't like the zoom function, doesn't seem like good quality zooms. But anyway, at least I can vlog with this thing. Alright, you! Hit the like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and we'll talk about more stuff on Stuff Chat, because that's where we do it. Yeah!